So for this first demo, we'll just start off with the basics of the media player. And to begin with, you can see that there's no JavaScript required for anything that I'll do in order to play the media here within the browser. If we take a look at the video and even the audio, it's a little strange because there's not really much you can do with it. It's just kind of a screenshot here, and there's nothing really here with the audio. I did this on purpose because I wanted you to see how the elements worked depending on the configuration that you have. So let's take a look at the markup for a moment. This is the markup used for this page. And as you can see, there's a video element complete with source elements loaded into the parent video. And the same thing with the audio. I've got different sources here for MP3, OGG, and WAV files. But the reason you're not seeing anything is because the controls attribute is not on either one of the players. So if I go in and add controls, now when I refresh the page, I'll be able to interact with that media. So here you can see now this has the first frame of the video, but now there's controls that you can use in order to start and stop the playback, have a scrubber, report the time, mute the volume, change the volume, and even go full screen. So let's try this video out. So with the controls enabled, now you're able to stop and start the video, and the same thing for audio.
Polymorphic Podcast. Polymorphic Podcast.
And here you can change the volume, mute it, and you can see the time that's going on there. So that's the first fundamental part about working with the media elements. You need to have the controls specified if you want the controls to show up. Now, if you just want to work with this media element programmatically through JavaScript and never have it really appear on the page for background music or something like that, that's completely acceptable. Or maybe you want to turn off the controls of your video and just have it playing based off of JavaScript interaction. All of that's possible. In one of the coming demos, I'll show you how to do all of that interaction programmatically through JavaScript. Let's go back to the code for a moment. I just wanted to remind you that, again, this isn't XHTML, so controls works just fine here without any value to the attribute. At the same time, I could also do controls equals controls, or even controls equals true, and then go back to the browser. And as I refresh, here the controls show up on each one of the items. So the browser will be flexible, just in case you have some old habits lying around from XHTML. Now there's another attribute that you can use, which is autoplay. Let's go back and add that in. So here on the video, I'll just add the autoplay attribute. I'm sure you'll be able to guess what happens here. Now I'll refresh the page, and the video begins to play as the page loads. You can also tell the video or audio to loop. Let's add that in. So here we'll go to the video and tell this just to loop. So as the page refreshes, the video begins to play automatically, and I can take the scrubber and drag it all the way to the end. And once it completes, it starts over again. So looping is completely available in the video as well as the audio element. Another argument that you have available to you is preload. Now often you'll be serving the media from the web. Here I'm doing it locally, so this doesn't really make the same amount of impact, but by adding the preload argument. So in order for this to make sense, let's take autoplay off and go back to the browser. So now when the page loads, even before the user presses the button in order to play the media, it begins to preload in the background. Again, this is all done locally, so it's not as dramatic as it might be over a web server. So each one of those arguments that I've shown you works both for the video or the audio element. There is one argument, though, that's specialized just for video, and that's the poster attribute. Now, the way poster works is right now you can see that the video is not playing, but it rendered out the first frame of the video so that the user has something to look at before the video begins. But that first frame may not be what you want to be the initial presentation of your video. So you can add in an image and place that into the poster attribute, and that's what will be shown to the user before they press play. Let's go back to the code. So now within the video element, I'll add in poster, and then I'll refresh the page in the browser. So now, before pressing play, instead of seeing the first frame of the video, I have this poster that's rendered out within the player. Once you click play, the poster goes away and the video begins.